Alright. This is attempt 2 of this video. Hopefully, no more have to be in store. So, first off, it's important to note that this is for documentation purposes, not for the moolah. I want something to look back on when I'm much further down the line in game development and I can see how I've improved. And if I haven't improved, then I guess that means I gotta get to practicing. And this first segment of the video is to talk about the time it took to make this next game. Because when I look back, I'm gonna think, oh my goodness, that is an insane amount of work just for this crappy game. Because what happened was to make this game, it took like I don't know, but to make this game, it took a little bit less than a month, and then these videos about these two games were also made in less than a month, and then it took 4 months to get this game, which was made in a month in a game jam. And this game, this Forever Falling, I called it. It's this playing game. It's actually the subject of today's video. But first, I want to go over why it took so long to make it. Just so I'm not thinking that I'm procrastinating or something. And the first part is this game. It's called Card Collecting Connoisseur. And the idea of it was it would be a Peglin type game where you go across this map and get upgrades for your pegs and stuff, but instead of pegs, and instead of a map of things you want to bounce around on, it's a bunch of enemies on a board, and all your balls are also entities who would fight the enemies. And it would just be sort of like tabs, but if it was level based, and you collected more units the more you went. And it took a while. And after a hot while of it, I started to get really bored of it, so I challenged a friend from college. Oh yeah, that's actually another reason this has been taking a while. I'm in my first year of college, so I'm not focusing as much on game design as I did beforehand. But I asked a friend from college if he wanted to do a game jam with me, and I did. I made a game in I think I made it in 4 days, and our deadline was a week, and he made his in like 4 weeks. So I'm a little disappointed in him in that regard, and I probably won't do a game jam with him again. Anywho, after that, I got back into card collecting connoisseur for a little bit, and then close to when I actually finished making this map, I was like, holy god, I am like so tuckered out from this, I need to do something else. And then I made the plain game. And now that it's over, I don't think I'm gonna go back to it. I think I'm just gonna scrap this project. I might take little bits and bobs of it and use it in a future project, or I might just remake it in the future entirely, because I do have like a multi-page Google Doc game design thing for it. But I don't know, it's been very time consuming, and I don't want to invest any more time into something that's never gonna be anything. So yeah, big trade-off. Anywho, Forever Falling. Okay, it was hugely inspired by this game, Jet Lancer. I love this game for a little bit. I never beat it. I got to like 80%. It was introduced to me by a very good friend, a very smart friend. Uh I figured if he was playing it, then it must have something of value, and it certainly did. It has a lot of satisfying moments, but towards the end it started to turn less of a bullet hell and more of a those types of games where you what's it called? You just do tiny increments of damage to a big boss, and the boss can one hit you at any time. And it's just a game of patience, and I was not one for it, so I gave up on it, unfortunately. But when I was playing it, it was fun. So I tried to make my own. Uh, I went for more of a you're flying straight instead of flying in a screen. Here's the little main menu. The goal was to survive for 600 seconds, but to be honest, in my testing, I didn't make it past 300, so it might not even be possible with the amount of upgrades I gave. But when I was at 300, it was kind of easy, so I assume it is possible. But I just didn't have the patience for it. And I also did a bunch of upgrades, and these modular upgrades I made were I think they're a good step in going towards modular weapons. I think for a future game, I really want modular guns that you have to find blueprints for pieces for and then craft to make obscenely cool guns. Or maybe spells, maybe incremental spells that have synergies with other spells. I don't know. I want to use modular things in the future, so this was good practice. I also got a fuel tank down here and the timer down here. Nothing special. Um, how I did everything was, although it's 2D in the game, like right here, it looks like pixel art. It's actually a 3D model that I just rotated a whole bunch, and then I put like I destroyed it basically. I destroyed the game's resolution, and that's why it looks like that. Because I did want to have that pixelated style that Jetlancer has. I definitely destroyed it a lot more than Jetlancer. Jetlancer has a much better resolution than mine, but it's still not exactly real life simulator style. And neither is mine. All of the enemies are incredibly simple. Like if you do Unreal Engine AI coding, you know that this much for a bomber plane ain't a lot, and like all of them were that simple. And it was because I did a bunch of stuff in the rocks because they were the first enemy that I made, and I realized that a lot of that stuff I could just do for everything else, and I didn't have to write a bunch of new code for every new person, or not person, enemy. And it was incredibly easy. So I will definitely take that knowledge in the future to make a base enemy class and then just make a child of that to make every new enemy, because it was so easy. I also did a little bit more of my own music for this. The menu music is this one on the side. I wanted a nice chill beat just to listen to while you're waiting for that timer to load. Oh, there is a bit of a timer in the there's a garage that you go to, and you have to wait a hot while for the level to reset. So I wanted a nice little tune to listen to while you wait. It's just because the updates I did to make sure if a plane was spawned or not happened rarely, because I don't want to spam constant tick updates, because that kind of destroys your game. And this is a small game on its own, and for this small game to be destroyed would be embarrassing. Like, that is a horrible allocation of resources. So I just thought a little bit of patience from the player would be better. I definitely need to work on it. It's a me thing, not a thing that player has to worry about, but for now I think the music is a fine substitute. And then for this one, this is the game stuff. What I originally wanted was for all of this section to be played, and then this section would be played on loop, but I could not figure out how to get that to work, so somewhere within the song it just cuts out for a few seconds at the end, and then loops back to the beginning. That's pretty unsatisfying. I think next time I make music, I want to try and put a little bit more time into separating the parts of the track. Next up is how I made the game itself. So over here we have the all these outlines are invisible platforms. The plane is only on the 2D axis. It's not actually flying or jumping up and down. It's facing straight down. And this massive tube is like the is this. And then I just put some light at the bottom. It's incredibly simple of a design. And then the ocean, quote unquote, is just this massive cylinder that I have constantly spinning. And the garage is actually right behind the player, as you can see. And when the player dies, the camera like snaps back to look at the garage after the garage door closes. Okay, so this is actually sounding like gibberish the more I think about this, and if you have no context on the game. So basically, you die in the game. A big ass garage door closes on the camera. The camera then flips around to the beginning, and then the giant garage door opens, and you see the garage. And for you, it was a seamless transition. For me, it was a very snappy one. And then the plants are actually all incredibly simple, but the game makes them look a little bit more detailed just because of how much I destroyed it, which is kind of ironic, but I thought it would be fun to mention, or funny. Oh snap, that's actually it. Okay, yeah. It wasn't meant to be anything long. It only took about a little less than a month to make. But I did want to put something up here just because I haven't put anything up here in a while, so I think this'll do.